Martin Romualdez, inosente raw. Hindi pinayagang umalis ni Remulla. Anong mangyayari kung ikaw ang tinuturo ng lahat bilang with highest dishonorable mention ng kawalang hiyaan at sentro ng alleged pandarambong ng kaban ng bayan?
Matagal akong hindi nagsalita dahil may direktang utos sa akin. Huwag nang bumalik ng Pilipinas at manahimik na lamang. Umalis ako noong July 19, 2025 para sa aking medical check-up. Nakaplanong bumalik pagkatapos ng SONA ni Pangulo. Pero habang papauwi na ako, tinawagan ako ni dating Speaker Martin Romualdez at sinabihan, "Stay out of the country. You will be well taken care of as instructed by the President." Noon naniniwala pa ako sa kanila, kaya't hindi ako bumalik. Tumikom ang aking bibig, sumunod ako.
Humigit kumulang 3 beses ako mismo ang nag-deliver ng basura sa bahay ni Congressman Saldico, sa Horizon Resident at sa mga bahay ni Speaker Romualdez sa 42 Mackenzie Street, Taguig. Mas maraming pagkakataon na nagde-deliver kami ng basura sa bahay ni Speaker Romualdez at sa bahay ni Congressman Saldico dahil iba-iba kaming mga naka-detailed na close-in, backup at advance party na nagkakaroon ng rotation.
Paulit-ulit kaming ginamit ng mga nasa pwesto sa sistemang ito. Wala kaming magawa dahil kung hindi kami makikisama, gagawa nila ng problema ang project na na-award sa amin sa pamamagitan ng mutual termination o pagkakaroon ng right-of-way problem na parehong nagdudulot ng hindi matuloy ang implementasyon ng mga proyekto. Matapos naming manalo sa mga bidding, may mga opisyal mula sa DPWS ang lumalapit sa amin para humingi at kumuha ng bahagi niya sa halaga ng proyekto. 21. Mayroon ding mga kinatawa ng ilang politiko na nakikipagtagpo sa amin upang manghingi ng porsyento kapalit ng mga porsyento ng mga proyekto. Ang mga porsyentong ito ay 25% ay ipinipilit sa amin bilang karaniwang kalakaran na wala akong kakainang tanggihan. Ilan sa kanila ay sina karamihan sa mga kawani ng DPWS na nabanggit sa itaas ay paulit-ulit na binabanggit ang delivery ng pera ay para sa kay Saldico na dapat at least 25%. Si Kong Marvin Rillo naman ay ilang beses na binabanggit ang pangalan ni Speaker Martin Romualdez bilang kanyang malapit na kaibigan.
Humingi ng travel clearance si dating House Speaker Martin Tambaloslos Romualdez for a medical trip sa Singapore. Pero an unlikely protest came from BBM's appointee with Remulla's ombudsman asking the Sandigan Bayan na maglabas ng preliminary hold departure order kay Romualdez para hindi makalabas ng bansa.
Mr. Romualdez was supposed to have a checkup in Singapore, I think. They were trying to ask us to allow him to leave. But because we have a bulletin, a lookout order with immigration about those that who are under investigation, we did not respond favorably to the request that he be allowed to leave. Because, ano yan magkakaroon na naman ng haka-haka at kuro-kuro yan. Mabuti lang, sana naman, dito lang siya magpa-check up. Kasi naman, magagaling naman ang doktor natin dito. Actually, they were burning the lines yesterday and up to this morning. But ako, I held my ground. Sabi ko, when you join government, you already surrender your right to travel, especially to another jurisdiction, especially if you're under investigation.
Kailan sana siya lumiyahe sa Singapore?
Today dapat. Hindi namin siya pinaalis, hindi namin pinayagan na ma-lift yung bulletin niya, kasi nga, naka-lookout order because we've been investigating him actively. Baka hindi na bumalik We don't want that to happen.
Ang preliminary whole departure order ay isang paraan para mapagbawalan ang isang tao na makalabas ng bansa. Hindi dahil guilty agad sila, kundi malay mo, iniimbestigahan o kaya core witness para kung kakailanganin man siyang humarap sa korte, makakaharap siya na walang excuses kasi nga nasa loob pa rin sila ng bansa. Alam naman natin na noon pa man, tinatarget na ni Ombudsman Remulla si Romualdez bilang sentro ng flood control scandal, with Remulla saying na kahit sabing wala ni singkong duling ang nakuha, he's responsible for Zaldico's action, lalo na at siya yung House Speaker nung inappoint si Zaldico as House Appropriations Chairperson.
When we look at the Saldico cases and the whole pattern that happened, it was really Saldico working with some senators that came up with a final version of the budget. And the plan was laid out there. If fingers do not point to the speaker, former speaker, as the leader of the House, he was responsible for the appointment of Saldico. Although Saldico was elected on the floor, everybody knows that it was the speaker's choice.
Matatandaan din natin na sinabi rin ni Remulla na magsasampa siya ng kasong plunder kay Romualdez by May along with Senator Chis Escudero na parehas leader ng Kamara at Senado respectively nung kasagsagan ng tinaguriang most corrupt budget na 2025 BICAP.
Against former Speaker Martin Romualdez and former Senate President Chis Escudero. Plunder ang aming hinahandang kaso para sa kanila.
Related sa...
On record, sir.
And as a conspiracy, with the element of conspiracy involved in the preparation of the complaint. Well, within the month of May, we're just tying up many things that have to be there for us to make a case out of it. Pero the Senate President, former Senate President, and the former Speaker will be subjected to a case of plunder very soon.
Flood control case, flood control related po.
Flood control related in so many ways, yes.
Ombudsman, sila na po yung sinasabi nyo kanina na matataas na opisyal. Nakakasuhan yung
Sila yan. Pero marami pang iba kasi nga
Maalala natin na nahuli na si Zaldico or at least yun ang sinasabi nila. Pero ngayon parang they're being icky about it kasi hindi naman daw talaga siya nahuli per se, hindi siya na-aresto, kundi na-hold lang siya or temporarily deprived of freedom kasi nga wala siyang papeles.
So with the word arrest, because arrest assumes that it's being done by the country which has jurisdiction over him, right? And the Czech Republic cannot lawfully arrest Zaldico because of course wala naman siya outstanding warrant dun eh. So those are two different jurisdictions.
Today, Martinez qualified his answer once more. Martinez said that Ko was the subject of an official law enforcement action by the Czech authorities and that he is still within their jurisdiction. Martinez said it's much like when immigration authorities deny a person entry at the airport or exclude that person. A week after news of his being detained broke, and there is still limited information on Zaldico. Fast forward to this week, and the DOJ says Ko wasn't technically arrested and that it was just that his liberty was restrained due to his failure to present proper travel documents and that he is being held by the immigration authorities in the Czech Republic.
From the very start, nilagay ni Romualdez si Zaldico bilang budget in appropriations at isa si Romualdez along with BBM sa mga sinasabi ni Zaldico na pasimuno ng lahat ng ito.
Right after our conversation, tinawagan ko po si dating Speaker Martin Romualdez at nireport ko ang instructions ng Presidente to insert the 100 billion projects. At sinabi niya sa akin, what the President wants, he gets. After ng ilang araw, nag-set po ng meeting si Sekmina Pangandaman at Yusek Adrian Bersamin sa amin ni dating Speaker Martin Romualdez sa Aguado Building in front of Gate 4 ng Malacanang at nandun din po si Yusek Jojo Cadiz. During the meeting, binigay po ni Yusek Adrian Bersamin ang listahan na worth 100 billion. Tinanong ko po si Yusek Adrian kung saan galing ang listahan. Ang sagot niya, galing kay PBBM mismo at binigay niya ito mula sa brown leather bag. Pagkatapos ng isang araw, tinawagan ako ni Sekmina at sinabi ang mensahe ng Pangulo. Ipasok ninyo yan dahil pinangako na sa akin ni Speaker Martin yan at hindi na pwedeng baguhin. Kumbaga, ang utos ng hari hindi pwedeng mabali. Again, I informed the Speaker and asked clearance about the instructions ng Pangulo. At ang sabi niya, wala tayong magagawa. Kaya po nagtataka ako kung bakit sinasabi ni Pangulo na hindi niya makilala ang budget, samantalang lahat na binawas at dinagdag sa mga ahensya ng gobyerno ay humihingi ng approval sa kanya si Sec. Mina Pangandaman.
Pero, bago natin tignan yung mga sinabi ni Romualdez, kailangan nating mag-ingat kay Remulla. Even though I kinda like the guy, parte pa rin siya ng gobyerno at appointee pa rin siya ni BBM. Tapos yung kapatid niya pa, gustong tumakbong presidente under BBM's endorsement.
You did say, Secretary, you have 36 years of loyalty, the Remullas to the Marcoses.
More than already, 40 years. 40 years na.
4
decades. No, 79 pa kami magkasama. So more than.
Would an endorsement of President Marcos for 2028 be a big thing for you?
I will not run if he doesn't endorse me.
Oh, that's new. With his negative ratings, how can that endorsement mean anything?
I serve at the, it's the, it's a family thing, it's the confidence
network,
thing.
it's the machinery.
No, you're so cynical.
Yes.
Can't you be positive, di ba?
Dahil tulad nga ng sinabi ko last week, pero bakit plunder ang fina-file ni Remulla? Hindi ba sabi niya noon pa na plunder is overrated? Mas mahirap yung patunayan kaya hindi niya gagamitin yun para sa mga gusto niyang makulong. Graft and corruption ang sasabihin. Pero bakit dito? Plunder. No, sasabihin nyo kasi yun yung involved sa kanila, na malaki ang involved sa kanilang pera. Pero can't you find a single thing para mas madali nating mapatunayan at makulong yung mga dapat makulong? Baka mamaya magfa-file ka lang ng kaso tapos sasabihin mo, nahihirapan kaming patunayan. Para lang masabi niyang, wala na akong magagawa kinalaban ko si Romualdez pero walang ebidensyang nakita. Tapos, malinis ang kanyang kamay kasi nga, technically, totoo naman na pinurso niya si Romualdez. It's just that he pursued something that shouldn't even be pursued. Dapat graft and corruption, hindi plunder. Kasi, again, siya na nagsabi, mahirap patunayan ang plunder. Ngayon, Athena Romualdez took to social media para depensahan ang kanyang sarili sa mga alegasyon.
Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. For a long time, I chose to remain silent. I did so out of respect for the legal process. I did so because I did not want to add more noise to an already divisive issue. But there comes a point when silence is no longer prudence. My silence has been abused and weaponized to build a narrative that is false, twisted, and unfair. So let me be clear. I will not keep quiet anymore. I will face this head on, and I will speak with facts because the truth deserves to be heard. The budget does not begin in the House. It begins in the executive. The agencies and departments prepare their proposals. The executive consolidates them into the National Expenditure Program, and that program is then submitted to Congress. From there, the House deliberates, but the House is not one person, and it is certainly not the Speaker alone. It is a collegial body made up of hundreds of members, multiple committees, vice chairs, and institutional processes. In fact, there are around 85 committees, each with its own jurisdiction, leadership, and members. No speaker can personally control every committee, much less direct the actions of other branches or government agencies. And in the Appropriations Committee itself, there are already more than 100 members. So let us be honest about what becomes law. The national budget is not the act of one person or one chamber. It is a product of a constitutional chain involving the executive, the House, and the Senate. This is something I want the public to understand. The budget process is collective, multi-layered, and shared. Accountability must apply to everyone involved, not selectively assigned after the fact, and certainly not when it becomes politically useful. If corruption were to occur in a magnitude made known to us over the past months, then it's clear that the real corruption does not happen at the level of the general legislative approval alone. It happens at the level of execution of the General Appropriations Act. It happens when projects are implemented. It happens where projects are actually implemented, where procurement is undertaken, where monetary disbursements are actually made.
Sinasabi niya rin ginagawa siyang scapegoat or gagawin siyang scapegoat o panakip butas lamang, hindi niya papayagan yun.
So when the legal processes is being used against me as a political demolition job, then I will have no choice but to defend myself. And I will defend myself fully. I will not allow myself to be turned into the scapegoat so that others who are actually accountable can walk away clean. If this is a political play to push me out and close the story, tarnishing my name and my reputation, then I'm telling everyone now, I will not go quietly and I will not go alone. I will not be the fall guy for other people's corruption. I have been in public life long enough. I have seen enough. I have heard enough. I know many things about this current administration and past administrations as well. And I say this carefully. If this matter is to be handled as a legal issue, then let it be handled legally, soberly, and according to evidence.
Now, where have I heard that before? Poster boy, scapegoat, panakip butas? Hindi natin alam. I won't tell.
Tinawagan ako ni dating Speaker Martin Romualdez at sinabihan, "Stay out of the country. You will be well taken care of as instructed by the President." Noon naniniwala pa ako sa kanila, kaya't hindi ako bumalik. Tumikom ang aking bibig, sumunod ako, pero ang hindi ko alam, ang ibig pala nilang sabihin sa aalagaan ka namin ay gagamitin ako bilang panakipbutas sa kanilang kampanya laban sa korupsyon. Ginawa nila akong poster boy ng kanilang sariling kasinungalingan. Ngayon, hindi na ako mananahimik, ilalabas ko ang lahat ng katotohanan. May resibo, may ebidensya, at may pangalan.
Dagdag niya, naging transparent raw siya, sumagot sa mga tanong at umattend pa nga ng hearing sa ICI. Lahat ginawa niya para sumunod sa batas at malinis ang kanyang pangalan, or so he says, dahil nga ang sinabi niya, ang gusto niya independent ang mag-iimbestiga sa kanya, hindi sa wisyo ni Ombudsman Remulla.
Today, I'm taking this opportunity to speak directly to the Filipino people. From the start of this controversy, I have been cooperative. I personally appeared before the proper authorities. I voluntarily submitted my affidavit to the ICI. I provided the information and documents asked of me. I did not hide. I did not run. I did not evade scrutiny. I faced it head-on within the proper channel because I know there is no evidence that proves I committed plunder, conspiracy to commit plunder, or any similar offense that the Ombudsman may be contemplating against me. And because I have nothing to hide, I am today authorizing the immediate public release of the affidavit I submitted, together with all supporting information so that the Filipino people can judge for themselves who has been transparent and who is simply being politically targeted. But if certain people insist on waging this in the court of public opinion, then I will have no choice but to defend myself publicly as well. To the Ombudsman, I say this with full respect. If your office truly believes in justice, then follow the sworn statements, follow the records, and follow the evidence all the way. Do not stop where it is politically convenient. Do not settle for the easiest headline. Do not confuse public pressure with prosecutorial duty. What I ask of the office of the Ombudsman is simple. Follow the rule of law and due process. This is a serious matter and it should be handled with seriousness, not with haste, theatrics, or shortcuts. I'm ready and willing to respond to every allegation in the proper forum through the proper pleadings, motions, and submissions that the law allows.
Pero ito, forgive us for being suspicious of you, Mr. Tambaloslos. We know your lifestyle. We know your political dynasty. Heck, we know your position at papel sa pagpapahalal kay Zaldico. It is not a leap to assume na ikaw, bilang House Speaker, ay makikinabang if not one of the main perpetrators ng pagnanakaw. Pinatatamaan na nga rin yata niya si Insan BBM saying nga, mas applicable sa ehekutibo of presidente at gabinete ang command responsibility o yung responsibilidad sa mga ginagawa ng nasa ilalim mo. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng ginawa nilang kabulastugan, meron kang responsibilidad kasi nga sila ay under mo. Alluding to his role bilang promotor ni Zaldico bilang budget chair at ang underlings ni BBM katulad ni Pangandaman at Bersamin ay isa raw sa mga gumamit ng kanyang pangalan para mag-insert ng bilyones sa budget.
That is why command responsibility is far more logically relevant in the executive branch where there is actually supervision, operational control, and implementation on the ground than in the collegial legislative body where constitutional role is deliberation and appropriation. Congress does not build flood control projects. Congress does not conduct procurement. Congress does not inspect whether a project was actually completed. Congress does not certify whether the work done was substandard or not. So if the allegation is that there was a systemic corruption in flood control implementation, then the public should ask the obvious question: where does implementation actually happen? Definitely not in the session hall of the House of Representatives. And to those who think they can throw me under the bus to save themselves, this is what I have to say to you. I am ready to defend my name. My silence should not be mistaken for weakness, ignorance, or fear. I know enough to defend myself, and if I am forced to do so in public, I will. Maraming salamat po.
And subscribe to the channel kasi wala namang masama, di ba? And let's get on with the video.
Ang video clip na ito ay galing sa aking series ng News Remember the Recap. Check the entire videos for the complete weekly news recap and subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date sa mga local at global news na I'll make sure will be interesting to you. Particularly you, whatever your name is. Hindi ko alam, sorry. Salamat sa panonood mga ka-farmy. Like, subscribe, follow me like sa socials and avoid Joseph that will be linked down below. So susunod, of course. Paalam.